What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Sports Time HQ. I'm your host, Fernando. Joined with me today is once again my great co-host, Keith. Keith, it's been a while. We're back, better than ever. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's good to be back. It's been a while, like you said, but yeah, great to be back. NFL's around the corner now, so and we're mock drafting today. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, I got some short news that we want to break down. Some news earlier today about Stephon Diggs. Supposedly, rumors has it he's not really enjoying the atmosphere in Buffalo. Maybe I don't think they would want to trade him. Obviously, they're a win now team. I mean, do you think they could maybe trade for a running back upgrade? Maybe in
With the recent
Jonathan Taylor.
news, Jonathan
And
Taylor.
then
I
Jonathan
mean,
Taylor officially getting the requested to be traded.
I mean, you're replacing your top wide receiver and getting a top running back in. I don't know whether they're willing to do that, especially this close to the season. I'm sure they have great plans for Diggs going forward. So I'm not convinced he'll be traded. And then I seen some rumors that I think it all was a rumor initially. Stephen A. Smith came out with it first, and
Yeah.
then I think Diggs kind of hit back saying it's not true. But then there was also three teams that he put forward to who he'd like to be traded to. Because I know the Bears were one of them. I can't remember the other two off the top of my head, which I thought was interesting, especially the Bears landing, DJ Moore. But I don't expect Diggs to be traded, especially this close to the season.
Yeah, right now their depth chart, if Diggs were to get traded, I mean, you got Gabe Davis, who would probably fill in that wide receiver one slot, Deontay Hardy, Khalil Shakir, Justin Shorter, Trent Sherfield. So you really give away Stephon Diggs. You don't really got anything else behind you except for Gabe Davis.
No.
And then obviously you got Jonathan Taylor, who's requesting to be traded. This is good for fantasy value for anyone who's been trying to get Zach Moss, Deion Jackson, Evan Hall, those running backs that have been behind him. And I mean, if he is traded before the season, those guys are going to get a lot of work in the running back field.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a dicey situation kind of all off season with the Colts owner and Jonathan Taylor. So, I think this is probably the best of both worlds. Split was kind of the best way. Taylor was away from the team, for personal issues, but now looks like he'll get his trade. Well, depending on what the Colts want and what they get back, but I'm sure he'll get his trade in the end. I think we were talking about it, before going live there. I think the Vikings could be a team in contention for Taylor, just because I don't know if they're content with Alexander Madison, just being that bell cow back. So I think it's going to be interesting. There'll probably be a few teams lining up for him.
Yeah, I mean, the Vikings definitely a great option, especially, I mean, now you have Jordan Addison with Justin Jefferson. Then you add on Jonathan Taylor with Alexander Madison. That team is a really strong team with Jonathan Taylor there. I mean, I'd love to see it, but it also could hurt some fantasy value for anyone who has Alexander Madison.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
sure.
I know we were talking before the show. I mean, you mentioned the Vikings, and of course, I mentioned the Bills. I think the Bills would be a strong spot. But once again, it's still, if Jonathan Taylor goes either to the Vikings or the Bills, James Cook and Alexander Madison, they both take a hit in fantasy.
Yeah, big time.
But someone who I do want to talk to you about and want to know if you think they took a hit is Breece Hall. Because Dalvin Cook, he signed with the Jets. The Jets are the new Tom Brady and the Buccaneers' first year, like Aaron Rodgers did to now with the Jets. Do you think Dalvin Cook there is hurting Breece Hall value significantly, or do you think it'll be kind of a 1-2 punch?
I think initially over the first couple of weeks he could take the majority of the snaps in the backfield. I just think now they have the option to bring Breece back in gently without giving him a major workload early on. I think as it goes on, it'll be a 1-2 punch, and then I'd say Breece will end up being the main guy come the back half of the year. But I think initially, if you're looking to start your league fast and get out to a couple of early wins, Dalvin Cook can definitely help you. I think maybe the first 3 weeks.
So you think this is more of like a security option for Breece Hall because Breece Hall has been dealing with that injury?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's like a nice security blanket for for the Jets. And, Dalvin Cook can do his thing for the first few weeks. They can work in Brees Hall, into them games. And then as it goes on, it'll be a 1-2 punch. And then I think the back end of the season, I think Brees Hall takes over.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I mean, the Jets are a strong team. We haven't talked about it since Aaron Rodgers has gotten to the Jets, but do you think the Jets will beat out the Bills in that division?
No, I don't think so. No, I mean they're
No.
gonna put it up to them, but I don't think so. I think the Bills will end up being too strong at the end of the day. I think it's I think it's such a competitive division because you can't rule out Miami. I think your Patriots are going to be very much like an old
They're
school
number
Seattle.
one.
I
They're
think you're
number
going to be
one.
old school Seattle. I think you're going to run the ball and you're going to try and play good defense. And Mac will only
Yeah.
throw when he needs to throw. And I mean, that can be a recipe for success, but it's just the division is so tough.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Patriots, of course. Ramondre Stevenson now has another teammate in the backfield, and Ezekiel Elliott. I don't think Zeke's going to really hurt Ramondre Stevenson's stock, in my opinion, in fantasy. I think Ramondre could definitely go down a couple, but I don't think it's significant towards like a Dalvin Cook, Brees Hall in the beginning of the season. I mean, I want to hear your thoughts on that, but I like Ramondre. I still think he's an RB1.
Yeah, I'm big on Ramondre. I moved him down just one spot in my rankings. I think he went from like 9 to 10 or something like that. I still high at him. Zeke will get the work around the goal line, I think, and that's where the touchdowns will hurt Ramondre there. But I still think working the passing game and probably 60%, if not more, of the workload will be Ramondre.
Yeah, those are some news and notes around the league. But let's get into the actual fun of this episode. It's time for a nice 1QB PPR mock redraft. And Keith and I, we decided to get the positions, ask Siri actually, on what she wants to for where we want to be drafted from. And Siri has decided that I'd be drafting from the 4th slot, and Keith will be drafting from the 8th slot. Keith, who are you taking at the 1.8?
I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to have to wait and see it come my way, won't I? I mean, you should have all the riches for you in the 4th spot. So I'm interested to see who's going to be left for me.
I'm not a big fan of the 4 slot, to be honest with you. But I do want to ask you, who do you think is the 1.01 or should be the 101 in this year's fantasy season? Do you think it should be JJ, Christian McCaffrey, or maybe even Jamar Chase? I've seen a lot, those three go back and forth at the 101.
I mean, I wouldn't fight with you over either one of them if you took, them at the one. For me, if I'm at the 101, I'll be tossing between McCaffrey and JJ, Justin Jefferson, just whatever way I want to, build out my roster. But that's where I will be going. I haven't had a lot of mock drafts now that I usually just randomize it and go in and see where I go. Not a lot have come out as team one, so I haven't had a lot of them options. And from what I've been given in the drafts, I know that are coming up soon, I don't have the first pick, so I haven't had to worry about that. But for me, it'd be CMC or Jefferson. But if you wanted to take Chase, I mean, I've seen some guys take Cooper Kupp there before he got hurt. I mean, maybe I'd argue a Kupp, but the other with Chase, Jefferson, or CMC, I wouldn't argue with any of them.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Christian McCaffrey. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Christian McCaffrey. I think he's a great running back, great for fantasy. But I'd rather take either Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase at the 101. Yeah. And 99% of the time, I'm taking Justin Jefferson. And then if I'm team 2, I'd rather take Jamar Chase and go for running backs in the 2nd, 3rd round.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it plays out here. Who lands to you? If the running backs go early, you might just get Jamar or Justin Jefferson land your way.
Maybe we'll see Travis Kelce go 101. All right, let's start this thing up. I'm not surprised, but I guess Sleeper decided to listen to me. Yeah. The 3 teams. So Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Christian McCaffrey, they go the first 3. I'm on the clock here, and I got Austin Eckler on there. I could take Travis Kelce, and we've talked on how much we really don't like taking tight ends so early.
Yeah.
I got Cooper Kupp and Tyreek Hill. I'm kind of debating between Tyreek Hill and Austin Eckler here. I love the running back value with Austin Eckler, but I also like Tyreek Hill, and I mean he's just the number 1 wide receiver 1 every year. You can't go wrong with him. Dynasty wise, maybe it would be a little different for sure.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to go with the safe option, in my opinion. I think I'm going to go with Austin Eckler. I love the upside there with Eckler. And I don't know. I just can't go wrong with Eckler. Just can't.
Yeah, it's a good pick. I would been on the same boat as you there. I would have been going either between Eckler or Hill. So
Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Cooper Cup go next. Who is your 108? Are you taking a
uh,
rookie? Are you taking a rookie here?
I'm not taking a rookie. So a lot of people here would be liking Bijan. I'd say Robinson. I just don't have it in me to take him as a first round. I just don't. I just don't think that Falcons are a good team. I think he's very talented, and I think he will be good. But I just don't want to take that chance and take Bijan. So
Mhm.
I actually really like Nick Chubb in this situation. There's also Stephon Diggs, but the rumors today now, I'm kind of going, I'm not too sure on that. I actually have Nick Chubb as my RB3, so I'm going to start with Nick Chubb there.
Wow, Nick Chubb at the 1.8.
Yeah.
See, do you think even with the rumors of Stephon Diggs, do you think that hurts his value?
I think it does. Yeah. I mean, unless we know for sure that there's nothing going on here and it's just, Stephen A. Smith and someone else making this up. But
Yeah.
it's been an off season where he's made a lot of noise. Diggs at the start of it, he wasn't happy, and what did he? I know he turned up for practice or training camp like a week late. It was only a week, but I mean, I don't like when there's players making noise like that for no apparent reason. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I for now I'm just gonna go with this. I'm gonna see how my team ends up, whether I like it or not by the end of it. Um, this round now, who else came off? So Diggs, Robinson, Lamb, AJ Brown. I was hoping AJ Brown would make it back to me, and he hasn't. So I'm looking between Devontae Adams and Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I'm gonna stay true to who I have ranked higher, who is Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Okay. Amon-Ra St. Brown. No idea on taking. No chance on taking Patrick Mahomes.
Not this early, I'm afraid. No, I'll leave him for you.
No, I will not be taking him that early. No, thank you. In a one quarterback, no, thank you. I
Yeah,
will hard pass on that.
yeah.
But
The only
Barkley,
other, the only other one I was looking at was taking maybe going running back heavy with Barkley, but I didn't want to start like that.
I was going to say Barkley would have been an option I would have considered at your
Yeah,
2.3. But Barkley does go right after. It goes Barkley, Mr. King Henry, and then Devontae Adams. So I'm back on the clock here. I could take Jonathan Taylor here, but with the concerns on where he's going to land, what's going to happen, I'm just too nervous with Jonathan Taylor, so I'm perfectly fine staying away from him. I could double up on running back here and then take receivers in the following rounds, which wouldn't be too bad, in my opinion. I think I can get some good wide receivers. I think right now I'm looking at Garrett Wilson, Josh Jacobs, and that's kind of it. Maybe Jalen Waddle, but I don't really get Waddle in too many drafts.
no Tony Pollard, no.
No. Tony Pollard he's got some upside, but I mean, there's just concerns like, can he be the running back one? And we've seen him be a running back one before with Zeke being injured or missing time. I don't know. I just don't see Pollard being that running back, the top running back in the Dallas Cowboys backfield. I don't know. Maybe I'm just going crazy, but maybe you have him higher. I don't know. I don't know how high you have him. If you like him a lot or not.
I do like him a lot. I mean, I don't know how much I buy into all this. Can he be the bell cow back? My biggest thing was what big name were they going to bring in, or was he going to come back? And it kind of hasn't materialized as of yet. So right now, yeah, I think I'm not too sure off the top of my head where I have him. I think 6 or 7.
Okay. That high?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No. I maybe have him 14.
Oh, okay. Well, way different. So this is going to be interesting, though.
Yeah. But I think I'm gonna go with Josh Jacobs. I took Josh Jacobs at the 2.9 yesterday in my friends league, and I mean, actually no, I took him at 3.2. Nick Chubb actually went 2.9 to me. He fell that far down, which is very shocking.
Yeah.
But I think I'm gonna go with Josh Jacobs here, only because I do like Josh Jacobs. His fantasy value is still really great, and there is rumors that he's gonna be back before week 1, and I'm willing to take that chance on the rumor. And even if he doesn't, I got running backs in the future where further rounds that I can get.
Yeah, I like to pick. I mean, he'll be back week one. I will he get a full workload? Probably not. Zamir White will get in
Mhm.
there, get some, but I like to pick.
Okay. Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts are the first two quarterbacks off the board. Then team one gets Garrett Wilson and Jonathan Taylor, so that team looks really nice. Mark Andrews, then Jalen Waddle. So now I'm back on the clock, and I'm going to take a wide receiver here, unless I want to take a running back for one of my two flex. But I think I'm going to take a wide receiver here. Now I'm looking at Chris Olave, Devonta Smith, and then DK Metcalf. I like DK Metcalf a lot. But I think uh, I want to go with Devonta Smith just because he's on Philly, and Philly's got Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown. But I think I'm going to go with the stud in New Orleans. You got to go. You got to go with the stud. I can't. Michael Thomas is not going to be Michael Thomas like he was way back in the day. There's just no chance. There's just no chance.
I was hoping he'd come back to me, Chris Olave, but I knew he wouldn't. But damn it.
Well, you could have had Tony Pollard too. He was close. I mean, he didn't even get to you either.
He was, and it's kind of just fell nicely for me. This guy we were talking about beforehand, Ramondre, has fallen to me here, so I think I'll make tee him up with Nick Chubb and be happy with that.
Okay. Not a bad team. Chubb, St. Brown, and then Stevenson. So I'm gonna have to take a guess. You got to go with a wide receiver here, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a wide receiver. I think
Take Debo.
There's one I'm not taking Debo. I don't mind Debo, but it's not who I'm looking at here. I think I'd like to pair Keenan Allen with Amon-Ra St. Brown. So
Really?
yeah, I think he's gonna have a great year. I mean, he was killing it when he came back from injury last season. I think Herbert will take another step forward this year. I think that offense looks really good.
And you're not nervous with any injury concerns with Keenan Allen?
I mean, you could say that about a lot of guys, but no, I'm willing to take the chance on him again. I took him in a lot of places last year, and for the most part, he hurt me initially, but then I basically made the playoffs in most of the leagues when I had him because he was so good at the back end of the season.
Okay. I do like Keenan Allen. I'm not going against you on that. I love Keenan Allen. I just hope his injuries doesn't linger into this year. Lamar Jackson, Calvin Ridley, Jahmyr Gibbs come off the board, and now I'm on the clock here. And I think this one's an easy one for me. I thought about going for a running back here and making 3 running backs, but I like some running backs later on in the rounds that I'm going to try and target for. So I'm going to take a wide receiver here, and he's kind of been underrated in my opinion in a lot of these drafts. I mean, what are we now at going to wide receiver 20 range right now? He finished wide receiver 10 last year, and this quarterback is going to take the next step forward into this year. And it's going to be somewhere where the Hall of Fame is, the state where Hall of Fame of football is, and that's going to be Amari Cooper in Cleveland. I'm going to take Cleveland and Amari Cooper. I mean, I was out on Amari Cooper last year. He finished the wide receiver 10. I mean, I think he's going to have another year like that this year.
Interesting. It's not a guy I've. Don't get me wrong. I never have a lot of shares of Amari Cooper. I think he's good, but I don't know. A lot of people are big on Watson this year. I don't. I like him, but I'm not sure about that offense. To be honest with you, you obviously think they're going to be good.
I'm fine. I'm fine pairing up Nick Chubb and Amari Cooper. I'm fine pairing them up on my team, or even if it's Watson, I'm still a little concerned about. I don't know. I think he's going to take the next step forward, but is he going to be a quarterback 3, quarterback 4 range, right behind Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts? Is he going to be in that talk? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think the value with Amari Cooper, I think he can still do really well with Deshaun Watson. I mean, they don't really have too much receiving, star receivers, unless you can name me Cedric Tillman or Donovan Peoples-Jones or someone along those lines being a star. Amari Cooper is really the only star there.
Yep, I agree with that. I think David Njoku's gonna. I like him as kind of like a sleeper option, a tight end. I think he could turn out as a wide receiver 2 for that team. But yeah, Amari Cooper's gonna be the guy.
5 running backs and a receiver go after my pick, and Aaron Jones, Damian Pierce, Brees Hall, Joe Mixon, Debo Samuel, and then Kenneth Walker. Back on the clock here. I've got 2 running backs, 2 receivers here. A lot of good tight ends on the board, and then some, of course, quarterbacks. You got Joe Burrow, Justin Fields, Justin Herbert as quarterback options, TJ Hawkinson, George Kittle as tight end options. But then you also have these sneaky wide receivers that are falling late in rounds, like 5th, 6th round. You got wide receivers like DJ Moore, DeAndre Hopkins, Scary Terry, Jerry Jeudy, and then you even got Drake London, who's in the 5th round. And then if you want, you can go with a running back, solid running backs, or not solid, but viable running backs that can give you some value in Miles Sanders, J.K. Dobbins, Alexander Madison. All really great players here in this range at the 5.4. I think I'm going to go 3 straight wide receivers here. I don't think I can pass up Scary Terry, but I was looking at Damian Pierce or Aaron Jones if they fell around back to me. But of course, they didn't last at all past the 4th round.
That's a good pick. I like Scary Terry.
I mean, he's being drafted in the 5th round and sometimes even the 6th, and just seeing his value drop that far, I mean, I don't know. I think he's underrated as well with Amari Cooper.
He is. I think people are kind of waiting to see how Sam Howell does, or they're maybe scared that he's not going to turn out to what Washington hope you do, and that's why Terry won't turn out to be good. But I like the pick. I think Sam Howell's going to be good. I like Terry. I don't like Dotson. So yeah.
How high do you have Sam Howell? Out of curiosity. Do you think he can finish as like a strong QB2 in this year's fantasy?
Yeah, at best. I can't remember what I have him off the top, but I don't know if he's inside. I wouldn't say he's inside top 15.
Okay, yeah,
might be in the top 20, but I probably need to move him up, to be honest.
Yeah, I think I forget where I have him, but I think I have him in the range where it's like QB 18, QB 24. Like that's his range, I think.
Yeah, I'm somewhere there. I'm definitely 20 to 25 on him, I'd say. And I should probably move him up, to be honest.
Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins, Jerry Jeudy, Miles Sanders go after me. You're back on the clock here. You've taken 2 running backs and 2 receivers. You got some solid QBs and tight ends. We know you like taking quarterbacks and tight ends early. So what do you say, Keith? I think this is the time.
I won't be taking tight end. I'm looking at wide receiver here. I like DJ Moore.
More receivers?
Yeah, more receivers, exactly. I like DJ Moore. Drake London, not big fan on. I think Watson is interesting. And Ayuk, I definitely like. But I'm gonna try and do something here. Let's see if it turns out. I'm gonna go with DJ Moore here, and let's see what happens.
I told you needed more receivers. It was just bound to happen.
And it didn't work.
You were going for a quarterback. You were thinking of going for quarterback.
I was gonna pair DJ Moore and Justin Fields.
That's
what I was gonna do.
Joe Burrow, TJ Hawkinson, then Justin Fields, and then George Kittle to round off the back half of the 5th, start of 6th. You're back on the clock. Now, if you're looking at Justin Fields, that means you're looking for a quarterback option. You do still have 2 solid quarterbacks in Herbert and Lawrence. You can pair up Herbert and Keenan Allen.
That's what I'm going to do now, because I want one of the top 7, as I would say, and Herbert is ranked as QB7 for me. So I wanted Justin Fields because I want that rushing upside, but I'm not too disappointed there getting Herbert now because I have to stack with Keenan Allen.
Yeah, I like that pick. I mean, I think any of those 3 quarterbacks that went around that back half, early 6th, I think those are 3 solid quarterbacks if you're looking to go for a quarterback early.
Yeah, I'm guessing you're still playing the late round quarterback. Is that your tactic from here on in?
I don't know. I like some players that I see on the board right now. Of course, J.K. Dobbins, Drake London, Dallas Goedert just went off the board. I got Trevor Lawrence if I want a quarterback here, and then I got some nice tight ends and Kyle Pitts and Darren Waller. I'm a big Darren Waller fan, but I just don't rely on taking a tight end so early. I'm fine taking a tight end late. But I also got Christian Watson. I got Christian Watson, who's wide receiver 1 in Green Bay. Do you trust Jordan Love? That's the big question. Alvin Kamara, he's serving a 3-game suspension. Will he come back and be the running back 1 in that backfield, or is it going to be Jamal Williams, Kendrick Miller? Then you got DeAndre Swift. Will he be the running back one with with Rashad Penny? I mean, there's a lot of different options that I could take here.
Yeah.
But I think I am going to take that quarterback. I've just seen the quarterback fall so perfectly in my friends league yesterday and here today. I mean, I got to take Trevor Lawrence. I like Lawrence a lot. I think his value is great where he's being taken off the board. And I mean, you see that offense. That offense is next level. I think it's easy, Trevor Lawrence, for one of the top quarterbacks.
Yeah, I don't mind the pick. I mean, if the way I kind of have been doing my mocks, if I don't get one of the top seven, like I said, and Lawrence just outside that for me, I kind of just punt the position and I'll go for a later round guys. So I don't have a lot of shares of Lawrence, but I think he will be good this year. I think that Jags offense will definitely take another step forward, and Calvin Ridley coming in there is only going to help as well.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Calvin Ridley's. I mean, it's going to be such a great offense. Love the Jaguars this year. Love my Patriots too, of course.
Of course. Can we talk why Goddard going to 6-6? Have I been missing something? Because any of the mocks I've been doing, he has not been going that early.
He's been going up there, and I think it's just because of the offense, the way the offense is ran.
Yeah.
And I don't like Goddard, in my opinion, for a tight end option. But I mean, he's going ahead of Kyle Pitts and Darren Waller. So
I like him ahead of Pitts, but I don't like him taking him at the 6-6. I mean,
you don't like any tight end being taken early, anyways.
No, I don't mind. The one I like Mark Andrews in the third, and I would have considered that if he had came back to me, but obviously he didn't. Other than that, then I'm kind of like, I'll take one later. I mean, I just thought that was, I don't know, 6th round Dallas Goedert is just way too rich for me.
Do you agree with Travis Kelce being taken in the first round? That's my big question.
Yeah, I think you get the position, the value there taking him. Do I like build my league my team that way? No. So it's not something I ever think about doing. But where it gets interesting for me, if he somehow falls into the second round, then I consider it, because then I consider that like very good value. But he's not a guy I'm looking to take in the first round. But I don't mind if that's how you want to build your roster.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not a person to take a tight end like Travis Kelce in the first round, but I will consider him for sure in the second round if he does come around the 1.10.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to take him in the first round, then you're thinking you're punting the quarterback position, because if you go early tight end, early quarterback, you're going to miss out on some of the skill players that running back and wide receiver, and your team's probably not going to look that good because you'll be throwing everything on Kelce and whatever early quarterback you take. And if one of them gets hurt, then you're kind of screwed.
Yeah, and I do want to let you know that Dallas Goedert, obviously right now in our draft, he's being taken as the tight end 5, the 5th tight end off the board. Last year in PPR leagues, he finished as the tight end 12.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't like it at 6. I really don't. I mean,
we know which team is going to lose in this
yeah.
league. It'll be team 5.
Exactly.
He's got some running back needy help. He needs help at the running back position.
Yeah, I would have been looking at running back there, not tight end anyway.
Yeah, and I know he's going to be looking at running back. So I'm going to take a running back here at the 7.4. I'm going to take DeAndre Swift.
Oh, right. No. That's the first pick. I'm like, no.
Really? You don't like DeAndre Swift?
I like the talent, but like, how do you know who's going to be the guy there? I mean,
Penny gets hurt a lot.
Penny could be.
He's worth a penny. He's worth a penny.
I like Penny. I think he's probably the most talented out of them, but there's rumors he's going to be cut, or he could be cut. I don't know if it's true or not. DeAndre Swift, okay, maybe in the passing game, but then who else got to mix in? Boston Scott and Kenny Gainwell. I'd rather take the chance with Gainwell. Like, he knows what's going on in that offense. He's been there. And you can get him way later in drafts. DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, but you don't think Swift's going to be PPR?
Yeah, he probably is, but he's a guy I just haven't been drafting unless he falls. Like in the 7th round there, I'm just like, he's just not a guy for me.
I'm fine taking him in the 7th round now.
Well, I hope it works out for you. It's just something I'm not interested in taking. He's just not I get the PPR upside, but I just think 7, like the Goddard situation, around 7 is just too rich for me. It's way too soon. I'd
He
rather
hasn't.
take Kenny Gainwell at the back of this draft, and I'd be way happier with that.
Well, I'd like to see you take Kenny Gainwell then.
Not now, but if it falls later, I will.
No, obviously at the end of the draft, of course.
Yeah.
But you can take my handcuff. You can take the handcuff.
I'll take the handcuff.
I like Swift. We do have a question on YouTube asking on thoughts on Lawrence, Herbert, and Justin Fields. This comes from Tom Doyle. And I personally, I don't know how your rankings are on these 3 quarterbacks, but I have it in Herbert, Lawrence, and then Fields. That's how I rank them.
I have it in Fields, Herbert, Lawrence.
So you think you have Lawrence under them?
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it's 6, 7, and 8. So it's Fields at 6, Herbert at 7, Lawrence at 8.
Yeah, I think Herbert's got so much value with the team he has, and then Lawrence with the Calvin Ridley coming back. I love that a lot, and I think that's boosting his quarterback ranking. Fields, he's got receiving options, but he doesn't have he doesn't have the Calvin Ridley and Chark or Zay Jones. He doesn't have that type, or Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Quentin Johnson. He's got DJ Moore.
He does, and he has the rushing upside though. He's gonna do a lot with his legs. He's probably the best rushing quarterback, I think, out of even better than Hurts. So that's what brings his value up for me. But I mean, there's nothing probably between my rankings.
Yeah,
we just have them in different order. So if Lawrence is your guy and you want them, go get him. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, it was the same thing for you. Fields was your guy. You wanted Fields, and then you went with Herbert.
Exactly.
So and then for me, taking Trevor Lawrence where I took him, I loved it. I loved the value.
Yeah, exactly. No problem.
So you're back on the clock. Dalvin Cook, Cam Akers, and Michael Pittman have just came off the board. You're on the clock here, and you can take your tight end that you so desperately love.
Oh, no, I won't take a tight end now. I'm going to take a running back because I think I'm going to try and snipe Team 9 because they've only got one running back. And I really like James Conner in this range, so I'm going to take James Conner and see what comes back. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You're taking James.
It was between James Conner and Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett went next, so I was trying to just see if I could screw.
So you like Conner more than Swift?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I mean, he's going to get all the work. They're not going to be a good team, but James Conner, I think, is going to be very good once he stays healthy.
See, I'm opposite. I like Swift more than Conner. Not by much, but still a little bit more than Conner.
I mean, talent-wise, you'd probably say Swift's the better guy, but what went wrong when it went wrong in Detroit? You know what I mean? It was injuries as well, but they were pretty quick to ship him out. He looked good when he came into the league, and then all of a sudden they're shipping him out to get Gibbs in. And now it's like a 3-4-headed monster over in Philly. They've all kind of got to beat each other out, or it's just going to be this giant committee. I just want to commit to guys who can get more workload. James Conner for me is going to get way more workload than DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, I see your point. I see your point. I think it's the same thing with our rankings with quarterbacks now with running backs. I mean, we're just kind of flipping them.
Yeah.
Lockett, Brown, Williams, Pacheco go after. You're back on the clock here. You got some good options that you can take if you'd like.
Yeah, I'm going to go wide receiver here. There's a guy who I just think he's a great value in the 8th round, and he's just sitting here. Okay, their team is not going to be good. Their quarterback, well, they're taking a knock from last year, but Tom Brady wasn't good last year, and Mike Evans still was a great option. He's going for what? Is he going for 9 or 10 1,000-yard seasons? And I think in the 8th round,
10, yeah.
He's getting great value here, so I'm going to take Mike Evans.
Okay, I like the Mike Evans
QB4 as well. I don't think I can go wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean, the wide receiver 4. I'm guessing you meant.
Oh, wide receiver 4. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, maybe QB4 on whoever's. Yeah,
but as my wide receiver 4, on that team, I'm very happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, he can easily be your flex play, and he can even be your bench depending on the weeks.
Exactly, that's it. It's just it's going to be matchup based and schedule.
Yeah, now I'm on the clock here, and I haven't taken a wide receiver since the 5th round, and I took 3 back to back to back. But I'm going to take a wide receiver here. I didn't think he was going to fall to me, but I'm going to take Mr. Christian Kirk. I like Christian Kirk a lot, and I think he's going to have similar value to what he had last year. I don't think Calvin Ridley is going to really affect it too much. I think Calvin Ridley and Christian Kirk are going to fall in the same type of area in their finish, the wide receiver finish.
Really?
And
that's what I was going to ask you. You're not afraid of Ridley coming along? Because the reports I heard is that Zay Jones was still going to have the type of role, but if Ridley was kind of going to take over anyone, it would be Christian Kirk's role.
Yeah, but I think Zay Jones, he's obviously the one that's taken a big hit. And I think a lot of his target share is going to be out the door. And obviously it's going to have to get split between Kirk and as well as Calvin Ridley. And of course, Kirk's target share also has to go to Ridley as well. I don't know. I think Kirk, the value you get with Kirk in the 8.7 pick or in the 8th round versus the Calvin Ridley who hasn't played in 2 years in the 4th round. So I like the Christian Kirk 4 rounds later than taking Calvin Ridley in the 4th. I think I'm going based on the value.
You're going on value, yeah. Which is not bad. I agree with you.
Yeah, I love the value where Christian Kirk's going. I think he's just so undervalued because of Calvin Ridley. Like Calvin Ridley has made him overshadowed Kirk, and I think Kirk's just a steal in the 8th, in my opinion. We saw what he can do.
Yeah, I mean, as a value pick, yeah, I like it. I just find myself I don't have too many shares of Kirk because it's just, there's other guys in that area that I just kind of have to go for.
Jackson Smith and Njigba go after with Pickens, Watson, Addison, Montgomery, and then James Cook. I'm back on the clock here, and I haven't thought about at all who I want to pick here, but looking down, I think I know exactly who I want to take, and he's been one of my favorites in the past couple of years, and I'm going to take him easily. But I do want to say that Team 1 has taken Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison on the same team.
Yeah, Team 1 wasn't very smart.
No.
I mean, that's fine, but you put them in a week, the ball can only go to one of them, so you're not going to be getting a whole lot of points unless it's one of them games where Kirk Cousins goes off. But yeah, it's not something I'd like to do anyway.
Yeah, and I want to ask you, do you think who's going to have a better wide receiver finish, Chris Godwin or Mike Evans?
Oh my God! Well, yeah, I'm Mike Evans, and it's
okay. I'm also Mike Evans.
Yeah, it's more of a value thing as well. Like, is Godwin? What did he go here? He's generally going about 2 rounds.
6.10.
Yeah, it's generally going 2 rounds before Mike Evans, and you've got Baker Mayfield back there. I'd rather take the value of Mike Evans. I mean, he can do it all. The one good thing about Baker is that he's a great deep ball thrower, and you can just throw that ball up to anywhere. And Mike Evans he's nearly guaranteed to come down with it. So I think I'd rather take the value, and I think he's the better pick.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. And I think it's similar to Calvin Ridley and Christian Kirk. I think Ridley might finish better than Christian Kirk, but the value is just so significantly different that I'm perfectly fine taking Kirk.
Yep.
I'm back on the clock here, and I'll take my pick right now. It's Antonio Gibson. I let him fall away yesterday, and I can't let him fall away again. And I have to take Gibson. And if DeAndre Swift ends up being a bust, I like Gibson a lot. I think Gibson's better than Brian Robinson, and I'll always be true to that.
I like Gibson, especially in a PPR this year as well. I'd say this is where, the J.D. McKissick work has to go somewhere, and I think he's going to see the upticks. The bit I'm not happy with is that Dotson went, 2 picks before me. I wanted Dotson. God damn it.
I could have taken Dotson, but I didn't want to pair him up with Scary Terry. Yeah. But you also got Rachaad White that left too, and I think you're a White fan, aren't you?
I am a White fan, but did he get it hurt and we haven't heard, or is he okay? Because I haven't heard any.
I think he's okay. I think he just, he suffered a non-contact injury at practice maybe about a week and a half ago, but I think it was I think he just limped up and got off the field. Okay.
Well, Rachaad White got taken actually before me now, looking back at the clock. You mentioned, did you mean Rashad Penny?
No, I meant Rachaad White. You like him, and he went.
Oh, yeah. I liked him as well. I wasn't looking at him here, to be honest. It was Dotson, because when I seen You didn't take him. Well, I was like, you probably won't because you're not going to pair him with McLaurin. I was like,
Yeah.
hopefully he gets back to me, but he didn't. So now I have to rethink where I'm going to go now. The running backs, I'm not a big fan. AJ Dillon, Brian Robinson, Jamal Williams, Penny. Not really where I'm looking. I'm gonna take another one.
This is a tough pick for you.
It is a tough pick because I'm not like tight ends. I'm gonna wait at this stage. There's no one standing out. I'm gonna think Michael Thomas is gonna come back with a bang, and I'll take him here as my wide receiver 5, which is
Wow.
not bad because if he doesn't, if he's not back to what he used to be, I mean, he's not gonna hurt me too much being my wide receiver 5.
So you're back. You're back on the Michael Thomas train.
Yeah, I don't mind him here. Like, I mean,
you haven't listened to our fantasy doctor.
Oh, I listened to our fantasy doctor. I mean, I don't need him to come back and be better than Chris Olave, but if he's good as a wide receiver 2, as my wide receiver 5, he'll be fine for my team.
Okay, I was just curious.
You just totally out on him at this stage.
I'm just, if he does well this year, then kudos to him. I'm glad he's back healthy and back to his wide receiver 1 potential. But I'm out on him. I'll take Olave over Thomas any day, and I'm out on Thomas. Fair enough. I would have taken Deontay Johnson or Treylon Burks over Thomas.
I like Treylon Burks. The problem I have is that as Hopkins coming along and that team doesn't throw the ball a lot, it's the Henry show. And then who did you say? Johnson, was
Deontay Johnson.
Deontay Johnson.
The two guys that just went after Michael Thomas, after you picked Michael Thomas.
Yeah, I mean, Deontay Johnson, I think, like, it's hard to know. I want Kenny Pickett to take a step forward, but I'm not sure about that offense at all, to be honest. Mm-hmm. I mean, I like Najee, depending where you're going to get him, maybe 3rd round, 4th round, or something like that. I don't know where he went here. He went the 4th, which I like that. But other than that, I'm kind of skeptical about this passing game for the Steelers.
Yeah.
So I'd rather take a chance on Thomas because we know what he used to be. So hoping he's at least as good as a wide receiver 2.
So you're back on the clock here after A.J. Dillon and Brian Robinson also went off the board. Do you still have your guy that you want?
Yeah, I'm going to go running back here, and I think a guy that will get a lot of work in Chicago is Khalil Herbert.
I love that pick.
So I'm taking him here in the 10th round. I think it's good value and a great pick.
I love that pick. I love that pick with Herbert. I think Herbert's a great sneaky value at the 10th round. I would have probably picked him if he went 11.4 because I think I'm going to take a tight end here. I think I'm going to go with my tight end here.
Yeah.
Because there's 3 tight ends on the board, and I have a chance to take one of those 3. Actually, I could take another player here if I wanted to. I just don't like any of the players here. I was actually hoping Quentin Johnson would fall down to me, but he got taken 2 spots before me. Team 6 we don't like. We don't like Team 6.
Yeah, Team 6. What's he taking? Oh, Quentin. Oh, no. Yeah, he took Quentin Johnson for you, and he took Dotson for me. Yeah, we're not liking Team 6.
Yeah. So here's my predicament here. I could take Evan Ingram because I love my Evan Ingram shares.
Yeah.
But if I take him, then I'm pairing him with Christian Kirk and Trevor Lawrence, which I don't think I'm perfectly terrible doing that. But I also could take Pat Freiermuth, which I also like. David Njoku is a good sleeper, but I'm not willing to take a sleeper. I want a true tight end, possible one. I want to hear your thoughts on Evan Ingram and Pat Freiermuth. Who do you like more?
I think touchdown upside, I think it's probably Pat Freiermuth because I think there's going to be so many mouths to feed in that Jags offense that Evan Ingram is not going to see a whole lot now compared to last year. I think he's going to be good, but there's way more to spread around. If I wanted someone I think is going to get more touchdowns, and it'll be Pat Freiermuth, and I think that's what gets you, them extra, we always say 10 to 12 points a week is, you want someone to at least get 1 touchdown. I'd go Pat Freiermuth if I was in your situation.
And I'm completely on board with you because Pat Freiermuth, in my opinion, I only say that because Pat Freiermuth, I love Evan Ingram, but I think with Calvin Ridley there, it takes shares away from Evan Ingram, and I think that's going to hurt his tight end value. And I'm willing to take Pat Freiermuth because I think Kenny Pickett actually takes a step forward this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's okay. I see enough that he can take a big step, like a big jump forward, maybe. But the reports coming out of camp sound good. They just don't convince me. I mean, I think Pat
Mhm.
Fryermuth's probably like a safety blanket for him. Out of all of them, I like his pick, and especially at the value. Um, the rest is like George Pickens definitely has upside, but you're going to have a lot of down weeks with him. I think Deontay Johnson maybe has a more solid floor, but you're not sure where the ceiling is. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of whatever you want.
And I'm glad I took out one of the tight ends because all three tight ends went Firemouth, Ingram, and then Njoku, which I didn't expect all three to go, including myself. But
Yeah.
I'm back on the clock here. Kirk Cousins, Rodgers went. I'm not looking to take another quarterback. Gabe Davis and Jameson Williams also went. I was looking at Williams possibly, especially with Alvin Kamara being out for 3 weeks. And then also, not to mention, Kendrick Miller suffering a little injury. But I'm going to take a wide receiver one here, a wide receiver one on the team, and that's Juju Smith.
Okay, interesting.
I'll take a flyer at the 11.4 with a wide receiver one.
What do you think about? So, what do you think about the whole Pats passing game? Being a Pats fan, I
Terrible.
mean, do you think Juju's probably safe that he has that slot role? He'll probably get maybe them 10 consecutive points, every week, and if he gets a touchdown, then
I
you're
mean,
happy, type of thing.
I think so. Like, I mean, where he's going right now in drafts, I think it's great value for a player who we've seen have a great fantasy seasons in the past.
Yeah,
So you know the potential that Juju has, and I mean, you got some wide receivers there, maybe Keyshawn Boo, Tyquan Thornton. I mean, you got Kendrick Bourne. I mean, you got a couple wide receivers that are in the mix.
Parker. Is he still there?
Yeah,
Parker's still there. Thornton.
Devontae Parker. Yeah, I mean, you have a lot of wide receivers in the mix. I think Juju personally stands out from all of them with experience and potential. And I think if Mac Jones has to throw a ball, it's to Juju and maybe even Hunter Henry. I think those are the top options, followed by whoever he wants to decide to throw it to,
Yeah, yeah,
whoever's open afterwards.
yeah,
I mean, I think if I'm, I mean, I don't like taking, as a Patriots fan, I don't like taking Patriots players in fantasy because they're just so, you just don't know with that type of offense.
yeah,
So I think if I'm taking one or even two, it's Ramondre Stevenson and Juju Smith. I think that's about it. The other ones you can take if they're flyer options for you, but I mean,
yeah,
those are mine.
yeah. No,
That's my take on.
I haven't been taking any wide receivers from the Pats. That's why I was just asking a Pats fan to see you've got more insight than what I have.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not a fan of taking too many Patriots players, especially too many on the same fantasy team, because then you could do really good or really bad.
Yeah, yeah,
Unless you had Tom Brady and like Randy Moss or Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski, then you're perfectly fine. But the way this offense is, I don't trust it too much in fantasy.
okay, yeah, yeah,
You're back on the clock. Anthony Richardson, Tua Tagovailoa, and Odell Beckham has went. You're back
yeah.
on the clock.
I'm
You can
actually
take a tight end here.
I'm not going to take a tight end because a wide receiver has just fallen to me who I
Zay
am pretty high on,
Flowers.
and it's Zay Flowers. Yep, I'm taking Zay
Really?
Flowers here. Yeah, I really like him coming out of college, and all the reports have been really good. I think he could be end up the best wide receiver in this bunch, and I'm really happy that I think the running back I was looking at has just fallen back to me as well. So I'm happy with that too.
I like Zay Flowers. I think he's got potential there. Obviously, we know Mark Andrews is going to be one of the top receiving options for Lamar Jackson. But if Zay Flowers can be healthy and if Lamar Jackson and Flowers connect really well, I think Flowers is a great wide receiver option, especially the way where you got him.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer to take him over Odell later on. I mean, like, I don't have any shares of Bateman. Don't want to do a Bateman.
Mhm.
I'd rather have Zay Flowers. Take the chance on him because we know what the other guys are, and I want to see what Zay Flower has, and I think there's upside there for him.
Yeah, I love that. So you said a running back fell to you. I'm curious. I don't know how. I don't think you're a fan of Devin Achan. I could be wrong, but I,
A guy like who I've been taking a lot in later rounds has been
it's not. It's not a
Charbonnet.
biased Seattle,
It is.
is
It's
it?
that Charbonnet. And I,
Uh,
knowing what Seattle do with the running backs and knowing that, there's the whole injury question over Kenneth Walker because he can go down at any moment, I
mhm.
think Charbonnet is a great pick here. I like the value here.
No, I would have taken. I'd rather take Perrine or McKinnon. I actually wanted McKinnon here at this pick because
Really?
McKinnon he finished last year as the running back 20 in fantasy. I don't know if many people know that.
Yeah, he had a great end to the season, right?
Yeah,
Wasn't kind
and I
of
mean,
all too heavy at the start, but the back end, he was good.
yeah, and I mean, you got Pacheco and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but Hilaire's running back 95 on that depth chart, and then you got Pacheco, who's the RB1 there, but you still got McKinnon, who's getting the passing work.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it, and it's not bad late on, but it's not a guy I think, I don't know how much upside he has, really.
Yeah, I like McKinnon. I would take McKinnon as a flyer, in my opinion. I'm back on the clock here at the 12.8. I don't like really much of the players here. I could double up on tight end, but you just don't do that in fantasy
No,
unless it's dynasty. But I do want to say a good tight end here, a good sleeper tight end is Okonkwo. I mean, we talked about him a lot in fantasy last year for a few fantasy waiver wire weeks, and he's still fallen very far. But I think it also could have hurt because of DeAndre Hopkins going there.
exactly.
But
Yeah. I was
Okonkwo
much
definitely,
higher on him before Hopkins went there.
yeah. I think I like Okonkwo, and I still would take him late if I decided to go no tight end all the way to the end. But I'm here. Do I
Where,
want to take
where are
the
you
first
looking
kicker off
now?
the board? I could take the first kicker off the board if I
Yeah,
really wanted
we're
to.
not taking defenses, so yeah, go ahead, take your kicker. Why not? We've only got what, three
Yeah,
picks left,
and
4 picks left.
yeah, no, I'm not. I don't want Justin Tucker. Someone else can take Justin Tucker. I'm looking to go for a running back here, and I don't want Devin A. Chain. I just don't think his size and his weight is just good for a running back in my opinion. And I think personally, I'm going to take Jacoby Myers.
Oh, it's kind of a safe pick.
Yeah, I was gonna go running back here, but I think the running back's gonna fall to me in the next round. So I'm gonna go Jacoby Myers and take him there. I really hope a running back does not fall here. And running back did go in Devin A. Chain, but I actually really like Tyler Algier, and I'm gonna take Tyler Algier only because you get him at the 13th round. Bijan Robinson goes in the first round, and Algier finishes a top running back last year. He got 1,000 rushing yards. I mean, the guy's good.
You do. Do you think he's going to be mixed in, or are you waiting for a Bijan
I
injury?
think he's going to be mixed in. I don't think Bijan Robinson is going to be like full on workhorse back, like studded back like that. I just don't see it. I don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know where they go because I think Algier, like you said, had a great season last year, and then all of a sudden they get Bijan, and now it's like, well,
Mhm.
everything's gone quiet with Algier because it's Bijan. But yeah, does Bijan get the workhorse role? Who knows? This offense, this team, I don't think they may take a step forward, but they're not going to be that good. I don't have them win the division or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it's just the question marks over that. I like where you get him because it's kind of you have a workhorse back if Bijan does get hurt, or and then if they maybe there's a chance they split 50-50. I don't think there's a chance to split 50-50. I think Bijan still gets the majority of the touches, but Algier could get the work around the goal line, which is
Mhm.
valuable. So
Yeah, and we have Brendan in the chat asking, he's shocked that Schultz went over Kincaid. Are you shocked at all with that, or I don't know. I don't know if you value Kincaid more than Schultz. If you think Kincaid's going to be over Dawson Knox, I want to hear your opinion. Like, do you like Dawson Knox and Kincaid as the tight end duo there? What's your thoughts?
I think obviously it's just AI, but if someone's picking this as Dalton Schultz, they're probably going, we know what Schultz is. He was good
Mhm.
with the Cowboys, and rookie tight ends don't exactly do well before,
Exactly.
and that's the big thing. I mean, I do like Dalton Kincaid. My plan was to take a flyer on him in this round or the next round if he got that, if he lasted that far to me. Um, because I just think he's worth a chance. All the talk coming out of camp are positive. He's playing with the ones. It all sounds good, but It's just a big question mark is that he's a rookie tight end in
Mhm.
his first year, and they never really do a whole lot
They
for
never pan
fantasy.
out.
Yeah, for fantasy. I mean,
Yeah.
they can in year 2 and 3, but the first year just never works. And I suppose with Dawson Knox, there we've seen before he has good connection with Allen. So it just depends what you want. I mean, I think he's going to be a very good player, but you just have to, you have to have them things in the back of your head that he's a rookie and it is year one, and they don't pan out for fantasy.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I love Schultz. I mean, I have loved Schultz since being when he was in Dallas, and I like him being in Houston. It's just depending on can CJ Stroud get him the ball a lot, and that's the question I don't know. But I do like Schultz, and I like him over Kincaid, and I agree with you. Kincaid and rookie tight ends just don't match up together. Rookie
Yeah.
tight ends, they just don't do well in the first year. But Kincaid for the future of Buffalo, love that. I think Kincaid has a great future in Buffalo and good future in fantasy, especially in Dynasty. I like him
Dynasty,
in
that's what's
Dynasty.
going. Go get him everywhere in Dynasty. Take what he gives you this year, and then I think maybe next year, then definitely year 3, he's going to be great.
Yeah, for sure. You're back on the clock here. You have a chance to take the first kicker for you. Fourth kicker off the board here with McPherson, Tucker, Bucker already going. Okonkwo has already went, so you're out of luck on that tight end. And I wonder if you were looking at it.
No, I wasn't looking at that, but a tight end who I do like has fallen this far down, and
No, is it
it's
Tyler Higbee or Greg Dulcich?
it's Greg Dulcich who I'm just
Ah,
taking out.
you just love that guy. I can't
Yeah,
get on the train with you. I can't.
I mean, I wasn't happy when I seen Troutman, you know, getting all them
Mhm.
touches, but I still think I still think when it comes to it, say from week one, Troutman's in there to block Dulcich, be the guy catching passes, and I
No,
like what I seen last year
no.
when he came back. So I'm in on him, especially this late. I'm fine taking him here because at this stage, if it doesn't work out, you just go to the waiver wire. Week 1, week 2, whatever you want to do, and you can just pick and choose who you want then. So I'm happy taking them then.
But here's the thing: you could have gotten a good tight end in the 10th round with Frymuth, Ingram, Njoku. They were all there.
They were, but I just like purely putting the position there. Like I liked getting where they go. I
Tight
like
ends late.
I like getting Herbert there, Khalil Herbert in that same round, coming back when you got Fryermuth. I mean, if I was getting Fryermuth, I would have had to go around early probably from you. So, and I'm not
Oh,
probably willing to go there.
okay, understandable. I just can't hop on the train with you. I think there's too much. It's like we talked about last year with Sutton, Judy. I mean, Javante, Perrine there, and then you got Marvin Mims who got drafted there. I mean, there's too many options there, and I'm out on Dolchich. He'll
Okay,
be in the waiver. He'll be in the waiver wires
for you.
after the first week.
Hopefully not. But see where I took Mike Evans at the 803.
Hmm.
If Waller just went before me right there.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's kind of where I'm thinking maybe I take if where I might take Waller or someone like that.
Okay.
Once it kind of goes past that 8th round, I'm kind of going, nah, I'm just gonna punt it then.
Punt it in the way. All right.
Yeah, I like
You're
the
back on the
rounds 8 and 9, but other than that,
yeah. You're back on the clock here at the 14.3, and you have potential to take anyone you'd like.
anyone I'd like. Running backs aren't there.
Unless for the ones
Where's
that are
Kenny
still on the
Gainwell?
board.
Where's Kenny Gainwell?
No, I'm going to take him at the 14.7. What do you mean?
Yeah, I have to leave him for you.
Kenny Gainwell is far down.
He is far down. He's very far down.
Um,
I'd rather Kenny Gainwell over a few of these guys that are.
He's right now ranked 196.
Yeah, I'm going to take a running back, but I'm not going to take Kenny Gainwell. I'm going to take
No,
Miller from the Saints.
really.
Yeah, because I like what I've seen with this guy, and obviously his injury wasn't too concerning because he went out there and he scored a touchdown last week. So I'm hoping he'd get a lot of touches while Kamara's out, and I'll take Kendra Miller there and take a chance, rookie upside. This late on in drafts, I'm fine with taking these guys there.
Yeah, I know. I'm on the same boat. I just if you want to take a chance on flyers, these are the rounds to take them.
Definitely.
So it's basically kind of who you like. That's who you go for. And I mean, We have Paul in the chat that's saying thoughts on Zamir White. I love Zamir White, and I think I'm actually going to take Zamir White here only because I do have Josh Jacobs. And if the media is wrong and Josh Jacobs is out, then Zamir White has potential to be a starter there in Las Vegas.
I think
And
Zamir White definitely gets work week one.
yeah,
And I'd say a good lot of the workload.
yeah, for sure. And I think I like Zamir White. I liked him in fantasy last year in Dynasty. I liked him a lot. And I'm still on the same train because in college he was great. He was phenomenal in college. So I like him a lot. And I'm willing to take a flyer. Like you did with Kendre Miller.
Yeah. And for Dynasty, Jacob still needs to sort out that contract situation properly.
Mm-hmm.
So he's very valuable, I think, in Dynasty to keep a hold of. And he's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah.
It's just that Josh Jacobs was unbelievable last year when he got going. And that was probably more, unlucky for Zamir White, but he is a good player.
Yeah, he finishes the RB3 or RB4, somewhere along those lines. I mean, he was a top running back.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be taking my kicker in the last round, as everyone should be taking in the last round. I don't see why anyone. Actually, we're the only two people to not. We're the only two to not take a kicker into the last round.
Oh, that's great.
I'll take your Seattle guy and Jason Myers. I like him a lot, and I still think Seattle will be a high-powered offense. So I like him a lot. I like Myers a lot.
And I'll take Brandon McManus, who's now with the Jags, because again, that offense should be scoring a lot of points, so he'll be out there.
And to close out the last two picks, Jared Goff and Devin Singletary. I do want to see some names that are still on the board that I actually cannot look at anymore. But there was I was shocked to see Jared Goff go at the very last round. Same with Russell Wilson. Those are two big name guys that have potential to finish as a top 10 quarterback. And they went as far as quarterback 15, around that.
Yeah, and it's interesting. The teams that took Wilson and Goff already took Jackson and Burrow. They already took the quarterback, so they're only just going to be, bye week guys, or if it's a matchup guys. So,
yeah, and the biggest
picks, in my opinion.
Yeah, and the biggest thing that you and I have stood by is, especially in one quarterback leagues. I mean, if you take a good quarterback and even a good tight end, don't take another one in that round. Use it for running backs and wide receivers.
Exactly. It's just a waste of a pick, in my opinion.
Yeah. So to cap off my team, I'll go by position anyways. For my quarterbacks, Trevor Lawrence, and I'm perfectly fine with that going into the season. Don't need a backup. I'll look for a backup if Lawrence gets hurt, or if I need someone for a bye week in week 9, I'll take that. For running backs, I got Austin Eckler, Josh Jacobs, DeAndre Swift, Antonio Gibson, Tyler Algier, and Zamir White. I know you were questioning the Josh Jacobs move a little bit, but the DeAndre Swift move.
DeAndre Swift, yeah. I like your Jacobs pick.
Yeah, I think I got a well-rounded running back core with Eckler and Jacobs, and I think I got a lot of flyers with Gibson, Algier, Zamir, and even if Swift doesn't pan out, I'm fine with those three being my other running backs in the back.
Yeah.
For wide receivers, I got Chris Olave, Amari Cooper, Scary Terry, and then Juju Smith and Jacoby Myers, as well as Christian Kirk. I don't know. I think that's a solid wide receiver room as well.
Yeah, it is. I think you've got the upside there of Terry, Cooper, Olave, and imagine so Juju and Myers will just give you a solid floor. If Myers and Juju can add touchdowns to the game, that's when you'll probably see their ceiling, but they're probably into about 10, 12 points a game. Decent flex where you're going to get the upside from Olave, Cooper, McLaurin. And then Kirk just depends what the volume is. I like him, but I personally think he'll take a hit because of Ridley there.
Yeah, and even if he does take a hit, I'm perfectly fine with my first two wide receivers, Olave and Cooper, and then Terry in the flex position. So even if Kirk doesn't end up producing a lot, I'm fine putting Swift or Gibson or even Juju Smith in the other flex position spot.
Yeah.
And then to close out, Pat Fryermuth and the best kicker in the world. Just kidding. Myers as my kicker. So I think it's pretty solid. And then I'll have you go through yours, and then we'll grade each other on what we think our grade should be from this draft.
Okay, cool. So quarterback is Justin Herbert. I'm happy with that. He's a top 7 guy for me. So
Love it.
just happy to get him there. Running backs, Nick Chubb, Ramondre Stevenson. Really like them as my, 1 and 2 running backs. James Conner. Khalil Herbert, Zach Charbonnet, and Kendra Miller. I like some guys are taking a chance on there. Like Kendra Miller could be good early with Kamara being suspended. Zach Charbonnet, really light flyer, but I like him. I think he's going to be mixed in, with Kenneth Walker, but also good if Walker does go down. So I like what I have there in my running backs. Don't know what you think, but I think they're pretty solid there.
I think they're pretty. I'm comfortable with Nick Chubb and Ramondre Stevenson where you took them. James Conner, I don't mind it, but I'm not the biggest fan on it. And then Herbert, I love the value. 10.3, I love the value on Herbert. Charbonnet and Miller, I'm good on. I'll pass on in drafts. I think, of course, Charbonnet and Miller, those are your guys. Those are my guys type options. So I think for you, you love them. For me, I'm not a fan of them.
I just love them for where they're going and what you could get out.
Yeah.
There could be a lot of upside there.
There's potential for sure.
Yeah. Wide receivers, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Mike Evans, love the value on him. Michael Thomas, Zay Flowers, rounds it off there. I think it's a good group of wide receivers.
The only people I don't like is DJ Moore and Michael Thomas. I haven't been a Moore fan in a while. I've never been a Moore fan, and I don't think it's going to really do much of a difference. I don't think it's going to change my opinion on Moore in Chicago. I think he can still finish as a good wide receiver, but I'm just nah. I'll take who is the next guy? Drake London, Christian Watson, and Chris Godwin. Those are the next 3 off the board after DJ Moore. I'd be fine taking Drake London.
Would you? I'd rather go Moore or Watson over the other 2.
Yeah. Godwin, no, thank you. But Amon-Ra, Keenan Allen, and Mike Evans are your solid 3 wide receivers in my opinion. Michael Thomas, the value I do like your value that you say Michael Thomas has there for sure. I just don't touch him in fantasy. And Zay Flowers I do like as well. I like Zay Flowers and I think he's got potential.
Yeah. Then onesie tight end is Greg Dulcich, which is a light flyer. I like him. And then kicker Brandon McManus, who's on the Jacks now. So got to take a kicker. It's fine. So yeah, I don't mind my team. I don't usually start. I wouldn't have got a whole lot of Nick Chubb starting off. I usually try and go wide receiver, so I changed it up. But I don't actually mind this team what it's turned out like now.
Yeah. It's a good team. I will admit it's a good team. For grading wise, I think I'm going to grade your team. I think I'm going to grade it a solid B.
I was going to say my team's a B, yeah.
I think your tight end, obviously you need work at tight end. I mean, you could even find someone who's in love with Michael Thomas, maybe even try and package Dulcich and Thomas to get a solid tight end in like Hawkinson or I don't know, Waller, someone like that. Maybe it depends on how high they are on Michael Thomas. You can get someone like that. There's improvement on there. Running backs. I like the running backs again. Like I mentioned, the later ones, iffy, but I think overall it's a solid B performance. I think it's a playoff contender.
Yeah, I'm happy enough for that. I mean, I look at your team, I'd say B plus for your team, just because I think you got a pair of stud running backs to start with, Eckler and Jacobs. We'll say Jacobs is there, week 1, which we're hoping. Yeah. Love Chris Olave, love that pick. Then it goes a little bit funny for Cooper because it's just never a guy I'm in on. Scary Terry I like, and then we know what I said about Swift. I don't need to go there about Swift, but Gibson
he's
I
Swifty.
like. Yeah, he's Swifty. Well, you want to hope he's Swifty.
He will.
Gibson I like. I mean, you've got the floor of Juju and Myers, and then you're taking some late rounders there. So I think it's like, again, It's a playoff contender, and yeah, I'll go to B+.
Okay. I'm fine with that. Am I playoff contender as well?
Yeah. I think you should be.
See, I disagree with that. I think there's one difference that you forgot to mention there.
Well,
I'll be crowned the champion of this league.
Yeah, whatever.
But that caps off our first one quarterback PPR mock redraft here in the first episode in a while. But thank you all for watching. Hopefully we'll have it every Monday. And then we got fantasy waiver wires after week 1. So be sure to on the lookout for that. But we will be here every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. And of course, if you haven't done so already, be sure to use code SportsTimeHQ on Underdog Fantasy. They'll match first deposit up to $100. So what can you say? Put an easy $100 in, you get a free $100. Boom, you can bet and become a millionaire using Underdog Fantasy. Then, if you want as well, if you're looking to purchase a trophy, ring, or belt for your leagues, I know I have already. If you look over there, you got some 3 rings there, got some branded ones as well. But if you're looking to buy some for your league, any bragging rights, holding up a trophy or a ring or a belt, go to www.trophysmack.com/sportstimehq and you can purchase some cool stuff there. But that's going to do it here in today's episode of our mock redraft. Be sure to check out our redraft next week. We have another mock. But once again, I'm Fernando Geronimo here, your host of Sports Time HQ. Joined with me is my great co-host, Keith. You can follow him all over social media at SwampDonkey_90. And be sure to follow him as well on Instagram at HuddleUp_NFL. We'll see you all next Monday.